Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. I have developed in the last 2 days a bit of the allergy sinus sort of thing that's going on around, so if my voice starts quivering and changing, it's not puberty, I promise. Have no fear about that, but you may see me reach over and grab a sip of water if that happens. So, honored to be here with you this evening. When Amy phoned and we discussed the topic for the evening, it was communicated to me that in this room I have a group of young people that have been very dynamic in leading not only on campus, but in the community as well. And so I'm honored to be here with you and talk briefly a little bit about leadership, because leadership is something that fascinates me. It's a topic I enjoy. It's a topic that I'm still a student of. And I hope that when I'm finished speaking with you tonight, you'll understand why I think all of you need to always be students of leadership. Now, I graduated from Western Kentucky University, and I graduated in 1989. And moved back to Greensburg. I met my wife there. She's from Louisville, Lynn. Met her there at Western in college. Moved back to the small town of Greensburg, where we own and operate a family farm supply store. My background's in agriculture. I enjoy very much being actively involved in management, day-to-day operations of the farm store, and have grown in my leadership capacity there over time. But along the way, about the mid-90s, I realized I wanted to go back. My wife was going back to get a teaching certification, and I thought, I'd love to go back and just work toward a master's degree. And so Western had a fascinating communication program where you could take evening and weekend classes, Friday evenings and Saturdays. And so in the mid-90s, I go back to work on this degree. And I get into it, and I start to realize that it's taking a lot of time and effort, and I've got the work demands continuing to go on. And so I hit that point when I have about 3 classes that I need to finish this degree, this master's degree in communication. And I'm really kind of burned out. We were talking earlier about a young lady that had the potential to finish her degree, and she didn't. I hit that point, and I thought, I really don't know that I can justify this. And I ended up in a class with Dr. Judith Hoover, and the class was called Values in Leadership. Now, I grew up in a family, a very great mother and a great father, but Dad was always the leader, and Dad was very structured, and things were organized. And I went through college, and I was very disciplined as a student about doing everything and focusing and getting it all done. And I sit down in this master's level Values in Leadership class, and the first words out of her mouth were, "For 30 minutes, chaos can reign, and the world will not fall apart. Leadership will emerge." And I was stunned. I never knew that could happen. I thought leadership meant someone out in front, racing forward with the baton, beating the drum, and everyone was lined up behind that person, doing exactly what needed to be done. I never dreamed that chaos could reign for 30 minutes and the world wouldn't fall apart. And from that, leadership could emerge. That was a totally different mindset. And it turned me back on to finishing my master's. And I was so appreciative of that class and the conversations that we had there, discussing the values in leadership. And so from that, I want to share with you briefly some experiences with leadership. And I want to particularly charge you with 3 thoughts. I'm going to mention these to you, discuss them briefly, share some insights and stories with you, because my children tell me I'm a better storyteller than I am speaker. So I'm going to share some stories with you, and then I'm going to come back to the 3 thoughts and wrap up our conversation with those 3 thoughts one more time. I think what you've got to do as you go forward in life, and obviously I'm talking to a room that has leaders in it. You're here because you're a leader. As you go forward and mature, you're going to have to discover, devise, revise, and adopt your own leadership formula. There is no formula. They can't write leadership on a chalkboard. It doesn't work that way. So you've got to be able to devise, develop, revise, and adapt your own leadership. But I think, nonetheless, that there are 3 things that are part of that leadership formula that you devise. Number 1, it's got to be knowledge that no one else can develop your formula. All of us have different styles. We have different personalities. We're made up of different things that drive us and motivate us, and the passions we have are different. So you have to develop your own formula. Now, you can pick up bits and pieces from others, and I highly recommend that, and that's going to be a bit of what I talk about. But realize you need to develop your own formula. That's point number one. Point number two, and this is another one of those that I thought I could learn. You can't learn leadership. You have to live leadership. You have to live leadership. Your best, most salient, teachable moments are going to come from life experiences. You would think that you could read about leadership in a book, go out and apply the strategies, and it's going to work. It doesn't happen that way. Cultures are different, environments are different, life experiences are different. So my second point to you is create your own leadership style from your life experiences. And again, that goes back to the point that you're always going to have to be a student. You're going to have your hey, this is a leadership opportunity for me to learn kind of antenna up all the time. So create it from your own life experiences. That's the best laboratory. The third goes to a bit of the conversation we were having here earlier. We were talking about one of the new and novel ideas, and it's not new and novel, but we like to use those words. One of the things that's being floated around a lot right now is we're talking about education as P16 instead of P12, P16. You go on, you finish college. So we're trying to align the curriculum in Kentucky so it's a seamless alignment from preschool all the way through 16 years of school. Someone at the table said it took them 18. That's forgivable, understandable. Lindsay would appreciate the extra 2 years of money, so let it happen, right? The point of that is, as we move forward, not just as a community, not just as a state, not just as a nation, but as a world, we're going to be lifelong students. All of us are going to be lifelong students. So my third point is, be prepared to adopt and revise, evolve your leadership style. You're not going to learn it, and it's not going to work in all situations. You've got to learn to be a leader who can meld and mold and mend and adopt and revise. Practice it, enact it, then adopt and revise it again. That's a challenge. It's not an easy thing to do. 4 quick stories that I want to share with you, and I'm going to come back and touch on those 3 points again. I get my best leadership learning moments from watching others. I'm not as good of a critic of myself as I wish I were. I'm trying to cultivate better critical skills with regard to my own leadership, but I learn a lot from others, and my brother is one of the best examples. My brother is an excellent educator. He works as a veterinary professor at Auburn University, teaches high-level vet classes, has some world-renowned research that he has done. And he has a simple little story that he shared with me that has stuck with me over the years, that I carry with me as one of those things that I want to remind myself of all the time. My brother has accolades, lots and lots of accolades, does great work. And he shared with me, my brother Dan shared with me the story that he keeps 2 folders on his desk. One of those folders is full of those letters of accolades and all the great things he has done and all those shining moments and all those awards and little reminders of pictures receiving plaques and all those sorts of neat things. The other folder on the desk are all those letters from irate mothers and parents and colleagues that berate him and really just tear him down. And he said, David, every time that I get another one of these nice awards, I'm so proud of it. I really appreciate the accolades. I put it in that folder and I open the other folder and read a couple of letters to pull me back down. And when I get a couple of those really tough phone calls or letters that drag me down, I put them in that folder and I'll open the other one and read it. I thought that was a great story about humility and about what leadership takes. So that's my brother.